Explain what we're looking at here.
This is the program developed by the Conscious Kid, which is working with Hasbro to teach children about racial bias at an early age.
Is this a mandatory all-hands training?
Yes, it was mandatory for me.
Children as young as 2 are already using race to reason about people's behaviors.
2-year-old racists is just an absurd concept.
By 3 to 6 months, babies are beginning to notice and already express preference by race. By age 3, children are already starting to apply stereotypes. They also may use racist language intentionally.
To say I'm taking no pleasure in talking about the company that owns Magic the Gathering, a game that I have loved since 1993 and banished me, would be a lie. I am taking extraordinary joy in reporting this. I apologize if you're not getting the normal try to be unbiased. I knew this about Hasbro. I knew this about Wizards of the Coast. And to see it come out now finally has been an amazing thing to watch. Hasbro makes lots of toys. They also own card game Magic the Gathering. They are what can only be described as coming for your kids. I hope that you'll leave a comment on this video, that you'll share it, and that you'll subscribe. It's 3 things that are extraordinarily important, and in particular with this type of video, whenever I mention PV, we'll say, the company that exposed this, it gets memory hold on YouTube. And I'm going to need parents and friends and families and viewers to share this, because this is literally appalling. We're talking about CRT indoctrination within children's toy manufacturer Hasbro, inside at least internal training given to employees, saying that by age 4, kids are showing a strong and consistent pro-white bias. This is actually insane. David Johnson, who is a Harvey Nash packaging engineer contracting with Hasbro, sat down with Project, PV, to discuss some of the training that he was forced to participate in. Johnson leaked a video to PV titled "Conscious Kids, Co-Founders I Don't Care," lecturing Hasbro employees about infants' inherent problems with race. Quote, "I decided to come to PV because I oppose this indoctrination of children that they want to push, and I felt more people need to know about it. I agree. Please, if you have Twitter, put this video on Twitter. If you have Facebook, put it out on Facebook. Minds, Parler, whatever social media you use, Gab. This is insane. They want to introduce children into racial bias at an early age before they're really able to understand even what race is. At 2 years old, you don't even understand race. So how can you have it's so insane." One of the Conscious Kids co-founders that train Hasbro employees was recorded saying how young children are prone to being an ist. By 3 to 6 months, babies are beginning to notice and already express preference by race. Babies as young as 2 are already using race to reason about people's behavior. We may see this play in our daycare or on the playground. How kids are starting to choose or exclude friends. Quote, this is from the whistleblower. "It's absurd to state just as fact that 2-year-old children are going to be the ist and using race to reason about who they're going to play with. At that age, I think there are fewer questions than normal. You're just kids. Absolutely absurd to state categorically that at 5 years old your kids are as adults, which is implying that the parents are also this in some manner. I just think it's absurd. I don't know how they don't see this as discriminatory to a group, an entire race of people, like how they explain that white kids have this particular bias against black people. Quote, I think the end goal for Conscious Kid is to make sure that Hasbro is going to use their lens and that Hasbro is going to push their principles through at all levels of their product marketing and packaging. I don't know what's going to be the fallout for this. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of detractors and critics, but I think this is a hill worth fighting on. I think that progress, in the truest sense of the word, would not be judging others by the color of their skin, but rather the content of their character and actions. What a bizarre thing. What a bizarre thing. And you see being covered by Post-Millennial. My name is David Johnson. I'm a packaging engineer for Hasbro. They are attempting to covertly push CRT through branding and messaging through their products. Several materials from the program's own website are shown at various points throughout the interview. In certain segments, the program talks about how kids are evil at 3 to 6 months. The program also talks at one point about how children are capable of intentionally expressing racial bias by 3. And at another point, they claim that children can be as evil as an adult. This is insane. They're not hiding their point of view. In fact, you may say that many of the talking points are featured on their own website. Do they want people to see this? The employee says, I don't think they do. To actually show that you're telling families that their 6-year-old is evil, I don't think that's something they want the public to know. Yes, this type of stuff exists. I think we'd be fools to say that there's no bad people in this world. But teaching children to judge others based on their race is not going to make a world with less racism. It's going to make a world with more of it. This is nuts. And people continue to ignore this. And you have people like John Leguizamo out there putting out videos trying to say like, nah, they're not coming for your kids. They don't teach this stuff in schools. I mean, is that what you think of your customers' kids? I mean, this is a company that, by the way, I bet you nobody's even covering this except for like the Post-Millennial, which is always a reliable source. Nope, not a single article in the last 2 days. Oh, here's one from Gizmodo showing new Power Ranger figures. One about Marvel, action figures, Transformers stuff. Nope. Not a single article from mainstream media about this. Not one. I mean, at what point do you think that people are going to, and you could see their stock down 2% today. Granted, it had been going down. But look, I understand that I want to avoid getting, too tinfoily. But this stuff is invasive. It is everywhere. And it's like we're picking up rocks and you see all the bugs scatter everywhere. These companies have probably been doing training like this for the past 5 years. Only now are we aware of the things that they're teaching their employees and now apparently their marketing departments when you're talking about kids. I mean, you're talking about a company that produces My Little Pony and G.I. Joe, and they are telling their employees that toddlers are like the bad guys from WW2. It is just shocking how little people seem to care about this. You're talking about a company that, of course, has Milton Bradley, Parker Brothers, Wizards of the Coast. Obviously, I take a little extra joy in Hasbro getting getting in trouble because remember, this is the company that really didn't want to institute. Now, here's something to leave and noodle on. This is a company that after I and many others proved that there was more than a dozen people who had records of enjoying the company of people way too young, okay? Not until we had a massive revolt that went for weeks did they even agree to background check their employees. Just think about that. You're a toy company. You own you own another company that caters to kids. You have people bring irrefutable evidence, mugshots of people that are in charge in positions of power in your company, and all we ask is, hey, maybe you should background check these people, right? The amount and the veracity in which they pushed back. We flooded their call center. We got pieces on the news about it. We had videos that were getting hundreds of thousands of views. They couldn't even tweet for weeks because they were getting flooded with people asking about this. Only then did they finally agree that maybe we should make sure we don't have any of these, the absolute worst kind of people working directly with kids. This is the same company that, you know, has no problem teaching parents and their employees that kids are evil. It is, I mean, you have to watch the video for yourself. The idea, now, look, is there some kernels of truth to this kind of training? Probably. The idea that a 3-month-old could recognize another 3-month-old that is a different color than them is not rocket science, okay? But the idea that they would have some sort of bias and that this was some sort of evil thing that Hasbro needs to now put into their toy line and indoctrinate people is absurd. It should drive your decision and purchase-making decisions when you buy from them, minimizing that. And people should be talking about this because this is nuts. People want to buy some dump truck for their kid, and then, you know, they're going to be shocked when they find out there's a little pamphlet inside there telling their kids that they're actually evil. Absolutely disgusting. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share it. Please subscribe. We'll talk to you again real soon.